welcomes you to the Bob Lonsberry Show. Be a part of the show. Call 421-WSYR, 421-9797. Here he is, Bob Lonsberry.
Good afternoon, troops. I so appreciate you tuning in. Hope everything's cool and copacetic on your end. As we mentioned in the last hour, the governor came to town today. He was at the convention center, gave a big talk on the budget. One of the folks there, in fact, somebody that I hear he praised rather significantly, was State Senator Patty Ritchie, who joins us now. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. Rob, you're going to have to push a button. I can't hear the sender speak. Are you there, ma'am?
I'm here.
Okay. I apologize to you and to the listeners. Rob, won't you, ma'am, could you speak again, please?
I'm on here.
Okay, good. Well, that's a little bit better, and I apologize to you for, I always mess up the technical aspects of this.
It's not a problem.
First of all, tell us about the governor's reference to you and words you said about him. How'd that all play out, please?
You know, I certainly was pleased to be there to introduce the governor today, and certainly pleased that he asked me to be involved, and I think that just goes to show how we've gotten so much done this past year. The governor has been willing to work in a bipartisan manner across the aisle, and I truly believe that's why we were able to get so much done in this past session.
You're referring to the fact that he's a Democrat and you, ma'am, are a Republican, and yet he's got good words for you and vice versa.
You know, I think we're getting a lot done. We've put aside partisan politics in Albany, and, you know, when we look to see what's going on in Washington, they're in gridlock, and that's not what's going on in Albany right now.
Outstanding. Well, for those of us who weren't there to hear the governor's budget message this morning, what should we know? What do you think the high points were, please?
You know, I think it's great to see that we continue to go in the same direction as last year. No new taxes, and this budget cuts the spending for the second time in a row, and that is, you know, certainly a momentum to build on. Last year, the budget was passed on time, cut spending for the first time in 15 years with no new taxes, and this budget continues the momentum.
We've already begun hearing ads that say, oh, don't take away the pensions of this person and that person, and we hear about teachers and firefighters and nurses and other people we love and respect, and we're supposed to call this one or that one, probably have to call you and say, please don't cut our pensions. What's that all about, please?
Well, the budget has, the governor has included in the budget pension reform. And the thing about the pension reform is it doesn't actually touch anyone who's in the system. So it would only be for any new hires in Tier 6. And so people who were looking to be hired by a municipality or the state would actually have the option, if they agreed with the pension reform and they wanted the job, to go ahead, and if it's something that they didn't like, you know, there's always another alternative. They can work in the private sector.
No, I doubt that. Only kidding. But no, anyone who's currently employed by government need not fear a thing. The promise made to you when you signed on is the promise that the taxpayer of the state will keep. It's merely in the future. We need to come up with better terms, and if you agree with these terms, welcome. If not, then best of luck finding something elsewhere.
You're absolutely right.
Here's the deal. Over this last year, it seems that your body, ma'am, and we're speaking with Senator Patty Ritchie, the Senate has been a little more agreeable with the governor than maybe the Assembly. Do you think that the Assembly is going to be supportive of these initiatives?
You know, I would hope that the Assembly would be supportive of some more of the reforms that have been out there over the last year. I know one of the things that I was frustrated with, we passed the first ever property tax cap, which I thought was a great thing, and it's working because over 80% of local governments came in with beneath the 2%. But with that, we all know that mandate relief had to be included. If we were going to put a tax cap on, we needed to give municipalities the relief so that they're able to stay underneath that. And so there wasn't enough mandate relief included last year in the session. And one of the frustrating things for me is when the Senate put together its one House budget, I think we had 122 significant mandate proposals listed in there. and after it went back and forth between the Senate and the Assembly, when it came back, I think they were down to maybe 9 of them that they were willing to sign off on. So, we really need to do something about mandate relief. We need to make sure that we give local governments the tools they need to keep taxes down locally. And, without mandate relief, that's going to be a tough problem for them.
Speaking with Senator Patty Ritchie, two of the people with you there, Onondaga County Executive Joni Mahoney and Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner, have both, again from the two parties, have made very strong arguments for some kind of mandate relief or some kind of pension fund relief or something like that. So that was 3 of you there. Do you think that the governor is on board with those same priorities? Does he feel the same way you feel, ma'am?
I believe mandate relief is a priority for the governor. He's included in his budget some Medicaid relief, and he's talking about pension reform. And there's, for the first time ever, the Mandate Relief Council has been created, and I've actually forwarded on some recommendations from my district for the council to look at. But I think for the first time ever, this council has the authority to look at recommendations and take party politics out of it, and to look and see what really needs to be done to cut regulations and to give relief to local governments and school districts. So I believe that there should be a mandate relief, and I'm certainly hopeful that we're going to be able to do something about it this session.
Speaking with Senator Patty Ritchie, a tangential issue, ma'am. As a member of the Senate, new district boundaries have come out, and some folks, maybe the governor included, don't like them very much. And again, I know this is your first term and the first time you've run through this process. What do you think is going to happen? Will these boundaries stand? Will they be changed when you guys officially meet to consider them? Will it go to court? What's your best guess, please?
I know there's certainly negotiations. There's going to be hearings across the state. The public will have the opportunity to weigh in. For me personally, my district didn't change much. I still have all of Oswego County, all of Jefferson, and I lost one town in St. Lawrence and picked up a different town in St. Lawrence. So for me, my district didn't change very much, but I know there's going to be public hearings continuing across the state, and certainly the opportunity for the public to weigh in and let their feelings be known about what's going on.
And this is completely wildly tangential, ma'am. It has nothing to do with this. But you used to be St. Lawrence County Clerk, is that right?
That's right.
We're speaking with Senator Patty Ritchie. In the last hour, we got a caterwauling here about pistol permits. And how different counties, it takes longer and the judge won't sign this or that or the other. As county clerk, what was your experience and attitude about this? How does the process work as you understand it, and what advice would you give to those who are seeking a pistol permit?
I've actually co-sponsored a bill to try and help standardize the process across the state. And I think it is very frustrating that somebody may live in St. Lawrence County and have a certain type of pistol permit and then move to another county and have that change. So I'm a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, and I believe that pistol permits should be issued and they should be carried concealed across the state. And so I certainly support the bill that's out there to standardize it across the state and maybe take some of the discretion out that's causing confusion across county lines.
Is there prospects for that passage? Is there an assembly sponsor for legislation like that, ma'am?
Well, I think there's a probable chance of it coming up and getting passed in the Senate. But once again, we're back to the hurdle in the Assembly.
Mm-hmm. We can't just do away with them for a weekend or two, can we? Understand?
You're trying to get me in trouble now, you know.
We could get a lot accomplished, I'll be honest with you. But what did I forget to ask you? Anything today or anything you're watching up in Albany that we should be aware of, ma'am?
Just that, I think we finally turned a corner. It's great to see that for the first time the public thinks that we're moving in the right direction in over a decade, and we've got a lot more work to do. I'm certainly appreciative of the opportunity to go down, and, I applaud the governor for his leadership, and I certainly applaud him for his willingness to work across party lines to do the right thing for all New Yorkers.
Outstanding. Senator Patty Ritchie, thanks for your time, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay, God bless you. Take care of yourself. Again, Senator Patty Ritchie represents up north somewhere. up in snowmobile and deer hunt country. Is that about right? That may not be the exact geography, but up around that way. And here's the deal. I asked her to come on, one, because she was there, and two, because she's a Republican. She's not some mouthpiece for the governor. It's not like they're in the same party and, he's buttering her bread. She's got nothing to gain by kissing up to him. And so if a Republican offers praise about a Democrat, or vice versa, though I've never seen that, but if a Republican offers praise about a Democrat, maybe you can believe it. I know I do.